Hey, we're live. It's Wednesday night. This is odd for the broadcast. Normally we're up at Tuesday nights, previously always at 9 o'clock, and now we are up at 8 o'clock on a Wednesday night, so it's a little bit different. Cautioning you right now, you have to like this page, share it. We are streaming live as well on Twitter and YouTube, so you can get out there and push this in different channels all night long. Tonight is an odd night, Wednesday, coming to you about 8 o'clock here to talk about all issues San Antonio, politics, memes, state politics, national politics, Trump impeachment, Precinct 2 constables. We're going to hit it all tonight and have a good time because on the broadcast, we are all about this platform being for you so you can tell us what you think. We can talk about everything that's happening in our community. We can put it all on the table, say exactly what we think, and then we could turn around and part friends. So that's the purpose of the broadcast. It's a platform for ideas, for talking. It doesn't matter who you are, Republican, Democrat, Independent, Liberal. You can come on this show, tell us what you think. You can post it in the stream right here. Tell us what you think. We're going to be following tonight. I've got Saulo Rodriguez as well as here with me this evening. Tyler's behind the camera over here helping out. Tyler's going to pop over here in a little bit too. He's got a little surprise. I just warned him right now. When we get into a vaping conversation, we're going to bring Tyler out. Yes, we're going to bring, about vaping. We're going to talk about vaping tonight, something that came up late here, but I'm going to bring old Tyler out from behind the camera to talk about vaping. It's going to be a very interesting conversation. But tonight, of course, like this page, share it, push the stream out there, start a watch party on Facebook, do what you have to do to get the information out there. Because at the end of the day, look, what I'm recognizing about our politics, and I don't know how you feel about this, but government, politics, whether it's Donald Trump and impeachment in Washington, D.C., it's Austin, Governor Abbott, and Mayor Steve Adler fighting over homeless people, or if it's here in San Antonio where it's Ron Nirenberg and that city council trying to pass paid sick leave, or whatever you want to list it as. All these issues that are happening in our government, our politics, people don't have all the facts or answers, and we're so splintered, right? We've got 40% think this, 40% think this on the other side, and then 20% in the middle, frankly, don't know what's going on with the issue, but there's very tribalized, right? There's two halves that are completely split apart, and then all the information that's out there is unreliable to a lot of people. So the best thing we can do is try to put our thoughts and ideas out here on the broadcast and have fun with it, because that's what this is all about. It's about information. It's about having a good time. It's about telling people exactly what you think. If you're snowflake-ish, Saulo, you get your feelings hurt a little bit, and you don't like to be told one way or the other, you don't like to argue, debate, perhaps this is not the live stream or podcast for you. But if you enjoy it and you want to have a good, hard conversation and you're willing to part ways as friends or at least respectfully disagree, welcome to the show. I challenge anybody, as always, to come on and talk to me. I don't care who you are. If you have an idea, you want to sit down next to me and debate it about any issue, any item, I can guarantee you have a home here. You can sit down with us and talk wherever, however, about whatever you want to. So we got to like it and share it and push this page out there. We're on a funky night again, so it's a little bit different, but we want to keep this going every week. Information, pushing out ideas, so let's get it started. As always, what we try to do on the broadcast up front is to have some things that inject a little bit of fun and also some things that are happening in the community we need to be aware of up front. And then we get into the real meaty subjects in the middle. We start talking about policy and politics and what's happening. So we really put our opinions out there in the middle. And then we always close up with the goofy memes. Like the memes are things that are sent to me, most of them, or stuff that I'm just cruising through social media and I can't stop laughing about. And I've got a few of them here tonight. But first things first, I want to welcome Ray Rodriguez. Abe Juarez, my man, just signed in as well. The Prime Minister, he's here. Dina Serrano, it's good to see you. Gabe Lara, welcome. James Ramon, it's good to see you. Betty Eckert is in. My wife is in as well. She said, replying to your wife, Saulo, both our wives are on the show. You know what? You can't have a podcast when both the man in charge of the podcast behind the scenes and the guy that's the voice, when both their wives are watching, that's a bad combination. I'm just telling you right now. It's a bad combination. Saulo's wife is with child, right? They're expecting, so we always love to talk about Edith and the baby on the way. And my wife is just expecting me to behave. So I don't know what that means. Yeah. Saulo's wife's expecting a baby. My wife's just expecting me to make a fool of myself. So we're here for you. We love you both, and we're going to get rocking. Thank you for letting us show up and do these podcasts. But first things first, I do want to hit something very solemn and important up front. A couple of days ago in Houston at the Harris County Sheriff's Office, a deputy sheriff was killed in the line of duty on a routine traffic stop. and his name was Deputy Sandeep Dawali. Now, this particular, if we can put his photo up, I think I want you all to see this. So this is from the day of the event. Unfortunately, 21 minutes after this was posted, as you can see, Sandeep Dhaliwal's brothers and sisters at the Harris County Sheriff's Office put this up. Today, men and women from the San Antonio Police Department and police departments across the country converged on Houston and the Harris County Sheriff's Office to recognize Deputy Sandeep. So if you don't know anything about this, if you haven't read this man's story or what he did for his community, you can take a look at him in that picture there, and you can see he's wearing his turban. He is a Sikh by religion. And if you think about it, it's a unique photo. What I love about this photo is he's honoring his religion with his turban, his headdress, his wear, right? He honors his religion with his law enforcement uniform. And this deputy fought for a couple of years for the right to wear his Sikh religious garments with his uniform, ultimately prevailing and bringing this image of just, I don't know, I was really struck by it. I wanted to share it with y'all because I think it speaks volumes when you see him wearing and honoring his religion at the same time honoring his community by serving as a law enforcement officer. I think it's amazing. And he lost his life in the line of duty, was gunned down, and it is absolutely tragic. I don't think we give law enforcement officers enough credit in this world, especially in our country, in the United States. Oftentimes they're vilified. I mean, we can run into tough times. We had a police officer convicted yesterday in Dallas for shooting an unarmed man in his own apartment because she thought she was walking into her apartment, convicted today, sentenced to 10 years. And that catches all the headlines. And Deputy Sandeep is sacrificing everything. And the videos that have come out of this man at food drives, with his brothers and sisters of the Sikh faith, all of them doing all these things to protect his community, to love his community. I wanted to take a moment of silence, obviously, before we start the show and get into goofy and fun stuff and talking politics, to really honor what's most important. So we're going to take a few seconds here in honor of Harris County Sheriff's Deputy Sandeep Dawali. So thank you, brother, for all you do. And in the immortal words of anybody in the line of duty who's working at law enforcement, we'll take the watch from here, brother. We appreciate you. Thank you. And now a moment of silence. All right, we got you, brother. We appreciate all you've done for us, and prayers for your family and your brothers and sisters of faith as well, and your brothers and sisters at the Harris County Sheriff's Office. So thank you for that. Thank you for your service. All right, now we're going to get into it because it's the right thing to do to talk politics. So let's inject a couple of good, fun items in here as we get into what we're going to do. So sometimes I do some memes at the end of the situation, but I want to, it's October. We're October 2nd right here. Or what are we, the 2nd or 3rd? We're the 2nd, right? Last night was National Night Out. People across the community getting together, spending time together, having a good old time, enjoying each other. But it is the month of Halloween. It is October. So my wife uncovered this lovely little, if you could put up image number 2 there. I think this one sets the tone big time for what, La Raza, Señor Federico Krueger. I'm sorry, I had to do this one. My wife discovered this one and found it. And if anybody is a fan of 80s horror movies, everybody knows Freddy Krueger, but this one absolutely was great. I loved it, so we have to start off with that. But this is in honor, of course, of Halloween, what's coming our way. If you could put the next one up right there. October is obviously a month, and I don't know about this one. This one I wanted to show y'all. But look, we're going to have a great month. This October is fantastic. Halloween at the end of the month. Kids have fun. It's going to be an amazing month. The weather's changing, thank God. But if you look at this one, I came across this one myself today. It's a Facebook page called Love What Matters. Whoa, hey man, don't give them the secret stuff that's coming next. So check out that baby, man. This mom. I mean, what I found hilarious was they put it in honor of Halloween. On a Love What Matters site. Mom took her baby and straight up wasn't eating brains in a bucket of blood. Now, I'm pretty sure it's not actual brains. I'm not a brainiac. I'm not a rocket scientist, Salo, but I do believe the baby's probably eating like a gelatin or Jell-O mold. I'm not sure, but I'm willing to say that's what's happening. But check out that picture. That is absolutely awesome, right? So get ready. Here comes Halloween. That mom wins already she's dropped the mic and she's won Halloween, and we're only on October 2nd. So fantastic work, Mom. We love you. Love it. Love that baby eating brains. That's going to go a long way when that baby comes home with its, well, I don't know if it's a boy or a girl. I think it's a little boy. But when he brings his girlfriend home on that homecoming date, Mom's going to show that picture every chance they get. So welcome to that child's embarrassment in the next 17 years. Totally awesome, Mom. Okay, now also, if you've been watching the news, you have seen this lady. This is a lady of courage. Let's play this video before I give a little commentary on it. Oh, first of all, you can see this KSAT story right here. Woman can be seen dancing and waving her hands as if taunting the lion at the Bronx Zoo. It figures it would be in New York City, right? I mean, this is a New York City move right here. She jumps into the lion exhibit and tells the lion exactly what to do. Play that video so our friends in the community can get a good laugh tonight.
That's what my dad used to do, though. Like, he was crazy. You know, looking like a
Come on. All right, okay. Look, there's courage. There's courage on the battlefield. There's courage of a law enforcement officer. There's courage of parents. There's courage at the PTA. I mean, you name it. We're all there's courage at wannabe jiu-jitsu class, like myself. And then there's courage of jumping into a Bronx Zoo lion's den. And I don't know. I'm pretty sure she was dancing, taunting the lion. Miraculously, she was not mauled. I don't know what's up with that. You've got Siegfried and Roy over in Las Vegas, taking care of their tigers, loving them. Maybe she needs to train them. Getting mauled by their tigers. This woman hops in a Bronx Zoo lion's den and dances, taunts in front of them. And then at that point, she just simply walks out. So I don't know what this woman was thinking, but whoever you are, do not Tootsie Roll in front of, I think it was the Tootsie Roll. I don't even know what she did. Was it the Running Man Tootsie Roll? I don't know what it was. It was the Blanco Brown's get up. Whatever she was doing, that is not courage. That straight up is ridiculous. So please do not do that. Be safe. Do not hop in Lion's Den. Don't do this at the San Antonio Zoo. I'm going to tell you right now. A New York lion just let that happen. Yeah. Stood by and was chill. Politically correct. A politically correct lion, right? A San Antonio lion at the San Antonio Zoo. No, she's not going to make it. They're barbecuing her somewhere over the lion's pit at that point. The San Antonio lion will not stand for that kind of taunting. So don't forget that. That's a Texas lion. That's a New York. Lions have a good sense of smell, and elephants have a memory, right? So no taunting or jumping in the San Antonio Zoo to taunt lions. I promise you, will not end well for you if you do that in San Antonio. My dad just logged in. Edith, your wife just did a PSA right there. Don't Tootsie Roll in the lion's den. Israel, yeah, she's taking notes. My prima, Regina, I think, logged in right there. It's good to see you. James, hello. Ray is giving a Darwin Award contestant. Yes, that is actually a great point, Ray. Survival of the fittest dictates that person probably should not have survived. I'm just telling you, but you never know. She made it through right there. The lion remembers what happened to them. Oh, here you go, Ray. Annette Hope Brewster, welcome. Good to see you here tonight. So we're going to wrap up with one more fun thing, and that is, so everybody remembers we talked about Greta Thunberg, video number 2? So Greta Thunberg, the climate activist, the 16-year-old climate activist out of Sweden or some Nordic country, went over there and yelled at the United Nations people. Totally awesome. Whether you think she's a plant, an actor, a comedian, or whatever, she totally lit up the United Nations people. It was hilarious. But then, this is what I love about the world. You immediately can get songified. I don't even know if that's a word. I just made it up. But they can take people in the world. Remix will take your actions and turn them into a mix. A sound system, a mix. They will songify you immediately. And I just want to play about 30, 45 seconds of this Greta Thunberg because somebody turned her speech into a death metal song. And I wanted to play this in honor of the White Rabbit. I don't know what that means. Isn't the White Rabbit a rock and roll joint in San Antonio? Play that, DJ. Play that. Spin that.
What's your message to world leaders today?
My message is that we'll be watching you.
This is all wrong. I shouldn't be up here. I should be back in school on the other side of the ocean. Yet Okay, no need to talk about easy money and fairy tales of eternal economic growth. How dare you?
All right, now before you start calling me a sexist, a racist, or whatever, right? An anti-Swede, and you go snowflake on me, start hurting my feelings. You hurt your feelings because I made fun of a 16-year-old. If you noticed in that video, in the upper right-hand corner, it said PBS NewsHour. So, I mean, look. That's my permission right there. So if it's on PBS, I don't know. I actually don't know if that music played on the PBS NewsHour, but you have to give that guy credit. Whoever that person was that songified that, straight up, thank you. Thank you. Killed it. Total White Rabbit. I was slaying when I wasn't on the crib, but I was going for it like that. It was, I felt it right here. I felt it. It was A-okay. It was fantastic. Thank you for that. So that should set another wonderful tone for a broadcast from Joe. She's making an impact on climate change and death metal. That's true. Bringing it back. They're bringing it back. Bringing it back. All right, so let's get into the show a little bit right here. Put me up that slide number 6 if you can on this Be Heard essay. So here's what I'm thinking, people. We have to do stuff. Look, we got to be more about it. We can come online and we'll do this podcast all day long and we come up with good stuff. And I'm behind it a little bit right there. Let me move a little side right here. So we can come up with ideas. And then we come amongst ourselves, and it's just kind of hilarious. Sal and I will talk. We'll come up with something. We'll bring a guest on. Tyler and I will be talking. Charlie will say something. And something cool or interesting will come up, and we'll have a great idea. But what we really have to do with this, right, if we can be about picking on the system and uncovering things and calling it like it is, because I think we should. Because the less we get involved. Here's something that's very important, especially with city council and politics the way it is now. We elect people more by our inaction, right, than we do our action. So our inactivity is electing people because either you don't know when you're going in and voting or you don't even care, right? So if we're involved in this thing, we want to actually do more. And I think we got a good following going. I mean, we got almost 12,000 people following the show now. It's starting to grow. We're going to share it, but it has to be more. And look, this last election, 125,000 people voted, and I'm willing to bet half probably did not know much about the issues or what's facing San Antonio. And then they see these things after the fact, all these things that are coming in, their tax dollars, all these things being spent. But we oftentimes say to ourselves about government, period, that it's not what's most important to me, right? Like it doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't work for me. It's not what's basic. So we oftentimes sit from the cheap seats, like, well, I'll be honest with you, and we lob those bombs in at City Hall, at Ron Nirenberg, at the City Council, at the Governor, at the Commissioner's Court, and we can do that. It's our right to complain and say anything we want to say, but at the end of the day, I think we need to be about action and ideas. So we're going to start rolling out. I did this a little bit during the mayoral campaign at the beginning, and then we moved in a different direction, started getting after the campaign. But it's time to roll this out. So we're going to start pushing this website out here tomorrow, in the next couple of days. It's going to be at BeHeardSA.com. And what we're going to do is we've got about 15 questions on there by neighborhood association. We're going to start asking everything from what's most important to you. Streets, sidewalks, crime, what neighborhood association do you live in? I may not have them all in there. I think I got about 240 listed in there right now. Tell me what ticks you off. What are the priorities with your taxes? And we're going to start refining this to really get to the bottom of what matters most to you. And then we're going to take that information, try to come up with ideas to fix it. It's one thing to criticize the system and complain over here. We're all entitled to that as American citizens. It's like our God-given right to be ready to throw the tea into the harbor. We can do that all day long. It's all right. But the next step of government, of public service, is taking those complaints and turning them into something, right? Turning them into an idea. So I don't think we're good enough until we actually turn it into something. So Be Heard SA is going to be that something. And that something needs to be just unfiltered, nonpartisan. Tell us what you, like I'm not going to ask you on this website who you're voting for. Are you going to vote for this person or that person, or who do you want to see in Bexar County Commissioner's Court? We're not going to ask about people. We're going to ask about policy and ideas, and then we're going to push them through and try to compile as much as we can. Because the number one complaint I hear, and last night I was out National Night Out, heard it right and left, but the number one complaint we often get is City Hall doesn't represent me or they don't understand what my priorities are, what matters most. Those people down there, and I was one of them, are elected by about 10 to 12% of the public. So 88 to 90% of our city aren't choosing our elected officials. And then you end up getting folks that you get very upset about. So the 10 or 12% of us that are voting can get ticked off. But remember this, if you haven't voted, you have a chance to register here in the next few days before it's too late. But you can register to vote because at the end of the conversation, at the end of the day, you're electing people. And I'm on a bit of a Brockton loaded, I guess, right here, right? So you're electing people by your inaction. Your inability or your lack of willingness to go out and vote is getting somebody elected. That's it. When in some council districts, 500 votes can sway an election. In District 4, I don't even think 3,000 people vote. In District 6, 12,000 people vote. 18,000 in District 8. Over in District 3, 7,000 people vote. You can imagine 500 people are going to change that game. You're talking 7 to 8 or 9% of the vote. It's just 500 people. 500 people. So don't elect people because you did nothing. So you're just as responsible. But to get there, you got to have the ideas. That's what Be Heard SA is going to do. We're going to try to compile as much nonpartisan, non-political information. It's just about neighborhoods and streets and sidewalks. And then let's compile that. We'll talk about it on the show from every week to week or every so often. And then we'll send it into the elected officials. And then we'll call those elected officials. And I'll challenge you. I'll give you their phone numbers. You call into those offices. We'll call into those. We'll email them and say, hey, look, I compiled 812 responses from this council district. And this is what's really important. Quit screwing around with gun buybacks over here and wasting our time paying $250,000 for antique guns that are wasted. Put that money into researching something else over here or come up with a better idea over here. Put it into something simple. I mean, fix a sidewalk gap for all I care. I don't care. But match what the community wants, the citizen wants. That's what Be Heard SA is going to be. Be prepared. We're going to push this sucker out here in the next couple days. Nonpartisan, really non-political, just good community information. We're going to track it. We're going to show it. This is going to become the broadcast in action. Don't just be a complainer. Right? And even if you have ideas, turn those ideas into action. Action will elect the people you want. Inaction will elect the people you don't want because you're not putting it out there. So let's get after it. So, hey, Mike Mahalski, he's in it right now. Lyndon. He's having church. Oh, he's having church here. Exactly. Mike Mahalski, that's a great idea, dude. Brilliant. I have many brilliant ideas. You have... I can't even get the joke out. We've barely scraped the surface of my brilliantness. Is that even a word? I think I just totally made that up. It sounded great, though. It sounded great. All right. I'm not going to be so hard on myself. Got it exactly there. Terry Lee, it's good to see you. Mary Jane's logged in. Dina says, yep, we can come on West Side Vote. Dina makes a great point. And I want to finish this up with a Be Heard essay. People wonder why parts of town get ignored. Right? Political parts of town. We ask you oftentimes what district you live in. People wonder why parts of town get ignored. And I'll tell you why a lot of times politics and government and campaigns, why people get ignored and sides of town. Even though we roughly have the same amount of people in districts. So we have 10 districts, 1.5 million people in the city. Roughly, we should have between 145 to 155,000 people per council district. So it is roughly proportional. But not in votes. Not in votes. So you may get somebody in District 9, they may get 19,000 votes, and someone in District 3 gets, or District 4 gets 5,000 or 7,000 votes. So a politician, check this out, a politician, and you think they're going to spend time in districts where they don't see a lot of people voting? Nope. So you oftentimes wonder, well, how in the world does certain parts of town get all the work? Well, they get the work because they're getting the vote, and it's a squeaky wheel gets the grease scenario. So I think we got to ramp up information in districts 3, 2, 4, 5, and let's push as much of it out there as we can. Got the same number of residents, but not the same number of voters. You each get one council member, right? So you do have an outlet to get your information in there, but get engaged. So Be Heard essays about that. We're going to push that out. Be prepared. It's coming your way. Ideas. Let's not get partisan about it. I'm not going to send out a survey or this information that says, what do you think of Ron Nirenberg? That's not what this is. Right now, you can go tell Uncle Ronnie no one's going to say anything bad about him. That's not what that's about. This is about information and ideas and doing what matters most, the priorities of our city. So I want to hop into one that's popped up here, too. In case you didn't notice, tomorrow, our illustrious San Antonio. Okay, now I'm going to move from I love politics and government and do well community. We love each other. Now I'm going to move into some hardcore political stuff. Tomorrow is a stupid vote coming our way. So tomorrow, the city council's voting on paid sick leave. Just a quick background on this. Back when I was on the city council, within the last year, or over a year now, people have been arguing about paid sick leave. So the paid sick leave organizations, the activist organizations, went out and collected over 300,000 signatures, or they got 140,000 signatures saying that over 300,000 people don't have paid sick leave in the city. And they tried to create an ordinance, right? They tried to go to a public vote so that the community, right, the city council, the city's constitution, or the charter, whatever you want to call it, that we would be forced to tell businesses, right, to enact paid sick leave for residents. So paid sick leave basically being if you work 30 hours a week in the city, you're an employee of a business operating in the city of San Antonio, you pay 1 hour of sick leave. And that sick leave can be used by the employee at any time they want with little to no supervision over the employer. So they went out, collected 140,000 signatures. I don't even know where they got them from. It was all over the place. They were at college campuses. Who knows how they collected them? But they got them. They brought them to City Hall. City Hall chose not to put it to a public vote. They chose to instead enact the ordinance led by Ron Nirenberg. They forced the ordinance down the throats of business owners in San Antonio. Then it got sent to court. Over the span of time, the city council, under Ron Nirenberg's leadership, commissioned a team to make edits and changes to the paid sick leave law. So the highlights are this. And I'm going to try to, you know what? I'm going to try to call somebody in here in a second, see if we can. I'm going to try to use my phone to call Chris Herring. He used to be the chair of this, where he's the chair of the Small Business Advocacy Committee. I'm going to call him here in a second, see if we can get him. So be ready, Chris. I'm pulling an audible here to see if we can get him in here. So at the last second right now, we've changed this ordinance. So here's the key points. 1 hour for every 30 hours worked. If you're an employee in the city of San Antonio or a business owner, be prepared to pay it. You're going to pay it. You're going to have to track it. Every instance per day that you don't do this, per day, it's a $500 fine to business owners. In the previous version, small businesses would have had 2 years to prepare for implementation. That has changed now. Listen to me. If you're a small business owner in the city of San Antonio with employees in your business, on December 1st, you're going to have to pay paid sick leave. And, they changed the name to safe pay. What do they call it? Sick and safe leave. That's what they're calling it now. I don't even know what the heck that means. Sick and safe leave, because safe leave because, hey, employers are some horrible people, right? And they're out to rip off the employee. That's the mentality of the San Antonio City Council. Don't forget that. They think that businesses should take a lesser profit. They should make less money for the greater good of the community and city, right? So they should take smaller profits, which, by the way, the small business owner has broke their back, their own personal investment, right? They put all of their resources and money on the line to start a small business, but no, that's not good enough to the San Antonio City Council. They want to dictate what benefits should be paid. So they're now dictating by law benefit packages. This begins tomorrow with the final City Council vote. It is a shame. Businesses have no recourse at this point other than to go to court, and they're going to. Ultimately, this is going to be settled at the Texas Supreme Court, and I'm willing to bet it's going to get struck down. It's going to get struck down because the people like Ron Nirenberg, who are out to socially re-engineer our city, don't believe that people have the skill, I guess, or the goals to build for themselves. So they think, people like Ron Nirenberg, people like Anna Sandoval, they at the city council think we need to buffer other people's success by giving them more money, right? Or changing their life by the government making or closing the gap of their lack of affordability. So instead of them saying, hey, I got to put a better job around this person, let's go after wages, let's try to bring in more recruits, more business opportunities, let's go to workforce education, let's pay some OSHA training, let's do those things that build wages. San Antonio City Council thinks, no, we'll just tell employers to pay more over here. We'll tell them to give paid sick leave over here. Or we're going to tell them exactly how to pay $15 an hour minimum wage. We're going to tell you who you can or cannot hire. All of these things are coming. And tomorrow's the first step to socialism in San Antonio, where the City Council is dictating business opportunities, business packages, small business leadership is now being taken over at City Hall. We have to stand up to this. We're going to do it through the court system, and ultimately it's going to get struck down. We're praying for that. Because it's not that, and this is the thing I think that folks who are in favor of paid sick leave, this is what I would want to tell you. Someone just put in there so much for free enterprise. Yeah, Lyndon, you're absolutely right. But this is what I want to tell you. I'm a small business owner myself. Salo's a small business owner. Tyler's a small business owner. Every one of us loves the people who work for us. I don't have anybody that works for me that I haven't dipped into a savings account because they needed a few extra bucks or they wanted to buy a couple of turkeys or something else, or they wanted to get paid a little bit early. They needed a day off here or there. I have the discretion to do that as a business owner, Ron Nuremberg. I can do that. The fact is, Ron Nuremberg's never run a business. Well, let me be clear. Hold on a second. Ron Nuremberg has ran a business. He was a personal trainer. His business was in his garage. That's where he did. His business was in his garage. Yeah, he's a personal trainer, right? So yeah. So I guess that's his only small business ownership is his garage gym, right? Where his employee was himself. So if you don't understand what it means to manage employees and somebody to come to you and say, Greg, I need an extra $100 this week, or I need this or that latitude or flexibility a small business owner has, gone. So I'm sitting here looking at this thinking, if I have an opportunity to pay somebody a little bit extra, I can't do that. If an employee calls in sick, I have to then backfill that person and still pay that employee. That takes out small business owner opportunities. Plus, what it does, it makes me less competitive, because this only applies to San Antonio. So people coming in from outside San Antonio can come in big contracts, and others. The city council are about to vote for this tomorrow. These costs get passed on to consumers. Shop, or I'm a Jalisco somewhere, or I'm building or starting a small shop, a coffee shop, or a video game shop, whatever I'm trying to do. If I'm trying to build that up and you come in and tell me I have to add more costs, guess where that's going? That plate's going to cost $4.29 instead of $3.99. That video game hour is now $11 instead of $10. The costs get moved on, just like a house costs more because you think it should be held in a certain way, or should have this type of building material, or this type of concrete, or whatever the progressive socialist agenda is. Those costs get passed on. City council's clueless because they don't own businesses. They've never done it. They've never had to struggle. Some of the most important things I've learned as a business owner, and I don't know about you, Sal or Tyler, was the times that, you know what, times are lean. Receivables weren't coming in, right? People didn't pay on time. Employees needed a little bit extra. It was the holidays. We weren't doing as much business in the summer as we were in the fall. The small business world is cyclical. So I'm going to try to call and see if I could bring Chris Herring on. He was mentioned in an article today in the San Antonio Express News. He's the chairman of the Global Chamber, but he's also the chairman of the Small Business Advocacy Group. We're going to try to do something a little wild here. We're doing an audible on the flyer because I just don't want you to hear me complaining about it. Let's see. Man, let's see if Chris answers. Chris?
I'm here.
Oh, hey, man, you got it? Okay, we're straight up doing an audible here. I got you on the iPhone. I wanted to talk to you a little bit here because we got into a little discussion about paid sick leave. So it's getting voted on tomorrow. I talked about you. You're the chairman of the Global Chamber of Commerce. You're chairing, I don't know if you're still chairing it after what the mayor did, but you chaired the Small Business Advocacy Group here in the city of San Antonio. So what do you think about paid sick leave, man? As a business owner, I'm curious. I think you've got some good quotes in the paper today, but I want to know how you feel about paid sick leave, period. Just bring a different perspective here.
Yeah, Greg, it's very simple. The city of San Antonio is not prepared for a paid sick leave ordinance that's mandated by our government. I have spoken with other business owners. In fact, we prepared a 10-page letter that had recommendations to the city council and to the mayor. You know, when I looked at also in the Express News article, I saw Richard Perez's quote. And, you know, when the San Antonio Chamber responds to say that something is negative, for the small minority women veteran-owned business, it means that when our businesses take a hit, we really will suffer. I mean, Richard represents the larger companies of San Antonio, but when it comes to mom or pop businesses, our communities suffer. And so when I look at this ordinance on the surface, it sounds good, right? The activists prepared something that was really built for millennials. The millennials thought that they were entitled to have these benefits. I understand our city is also ranked number one in the nation for poverty. We also were ranked number one in the nation for economic segregation. We have generational poverty that exists in the East, in the West, in the South. So I understand why people are frustrated, but at the same time, they assume that small business owners are all like politicians, where you have, you know, a salary, a benefits package, and that we're receiving health care, but I know so many small business owners who just don't have those benefits. And so I asked the question, what happens when a small business owner becomes sick? Is the city going to cut them a check for them being sick, or are they going to say, suck it up? So if we're going to treat everyone the same, then we have to have rules that work across the board. I just don't see where the city leadership really thought about that. And I was saddened when the mayor called me to tell me he had replaced me on the small business advocacy. You know, I've slaved over this committee for eight years. We've been the most consistent committee that has been meeting to make sure that we're meeting the needs of small minority women-owned businesses. And quite frankly, you know, at some point the committee expected that someone was going to be removed. I just didn't think it was going to be me, the chair.
Just so people know that, I want to make sure, because that was in the paper today. It stunned me. You've been serving on that small business advocacy committee for years, and you're what you call a holdover. So people don't know this, but every 2 years you're able to appoint and pick people that you want as a council member or mayor to these committees. And if you don't get replaced because people appreciate your service or they like your work, you ultimately become a holdover. So you've been in a holdover status, which means you've been continuing to perform the work for 8 years. But you sent a letter along with other members of the chamber to the mayor and city council voicing opposition, right? Voicing concern, and then you get a call that removes you from a leadership role in the board.
That's correct. And
yeah, that's unfortunate. Look, I can vouch for Chris Herring. I've known him for years now. His work at the city council, his work in city government has been on point, and it's humble too, Chris. And I'm sad when I saw that in paper today that he replaced you. So he took what your disagreement and he removed you. So he took basically the thorn out of his side. And it's just not you though. It's you represent an entire chamber of employers.
You know, that's correct. I not only represent a chamber of commerce, but since Julian Castro, when he appointed me, it was because we had $0 that were spent for African American businesses when it came to the bond in 2011. And so, you know, I've been representing not only, you know, the global chamber, but the African American chamber's perspective. I look forward to seeing and helping the new appointee that Mayor Nirenberg appoints, because I just think that those chambers still need to have a viable voice. But what I will say is, you know, this is really not about me. This is about the small business owner who really has to figure out between now and tomorrow, how do they get the attention of their council members who, simply put, when the Small Business Advocacy provided a letter that had 10 recommendations and they decided to return it and say, this is not under your purview. We thought through the issues, Greg. We thought through the problems.
Let me ask you this.
We know that the city did not have one study
that
went into how this would impact the city financially from the economic development department. And so who passes an ordinance that they never go through the city departments to give them an analysis of what's going on?
So just to recap here, and then I'm going to let you go, brother. So to recap, removed you because you disagreed. The city of San Antonio itself, its economic development department, did not do one study, not one study on the impact of this on businesses in San Antonio. Chris? Oh my goodness. I think Hillary Clinton got Chris Herring.
No, he didn't get me.
I'm messing with him.
Listen to the echo effect.
Oh, the echo. So
we did not have the chance to have the city.
Not one study.
To study this. This ordinance actually, Greg, impacts not only the Small Business Advocacy Program, SBETA ordinance, but it also impacts the Local Preference ordinance. It also impacts the Veterans ordinance. We're looking at having a disadvantage, as you said earlier, with our contracting community. We've been trying to resolve the disparity of discrimination that the city has had with our small minority women business community. The city has been doing a good job since 1992. We were at 5%. Now we're at 53% participation.
It's going to hurt.
This is what we
it's going to hurt.
Rollback.
It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt.
Trying to roll back the progress that we've made, and it just doesn't make sense. We presented the issues as they are, and I pray that the mayor will have a new thought to how he looks at this, because he's not looking at it from the profit and loss. He's not looking at it from a balance sheet perspective. And the business community will not only lose, but we're going to actually see some businesses fold because they can't pay for the paid sick leave ordinance.
Well, I appreciate it, Chris, and thank you for taking the call. We did an ad lib there, man. I appreciate you catching me. Going to get back at it, man. Keep watching. Thank you for all you do. We appreciate you.
Thank you, Greg.
All right, bud. Bye-bye. Okay, we went off script right there. All right, so we went off script. We did our own thing right there. It is what it is. We went to town. So, but check this out, just to recap, because I saw some questions pop up, some things that are important. One interesting point Abe Wada has put in there. You cannot, as an employer, you cannot contact your employee for any verification or anything for 3 days. So if your employer decides to execute their usage of their paid sick leaves, sick and safe leave, whatever they want to call it, you as an employer cannot contact or do anything for 3 days. On the fourth day, you can ultimately reach out to your employee and try to verify that they were really sick. So they can literally, and Abe put that point in there, I think that's an excellent, they can literally do whatever they want to do for 3 days if they've accrued the leave, and the employer has no right to contact them or to verify the legitimacy of the leave usage. That's bad news. The other thing, a couple questions I saw pop up routinely right there, was that it said, what about people who are already providing paid sick leave in San Antonio? So if it exceeds the current amount in the ordinance that's about to be pushed out tomorrow, it's going to be voted on. If it exceeds it, you don't have to worry about it. But if it's not enough and it doesn't meet the ordinance, that employer is going to have to increase it. So be prepared. Implementation, December 1st. Enforcement, April 1st. $500 a day fine if you're not in compliance with it. And by the way, this will be managed by a secret team, I'm sure, out of the Department of Metro Health Department. They're going to run around, I guess, and do stings and try to catch people not violating the paid sick leave law, or however they're going to do it. They haven't told anybody how the enforcement process is going to work, but I guess we're going to see city employees running around doing spot checks, trying to bust hardworking men and women, small business owners, minority, veterans, women-owned businesses, money that they've saved their life for to put in their business. The city of San Antonio is coming for you because they don't think you take care of your employees well enough. Stick that in your memory bank and remember that. Have no control over your own benefits packages, and you don't care about your employees enough, so we're going to force you to offer the benefits we believe are necessary. It's wrong. We need to do something about this, and if necessary, vote these people out. They don't reflect the will of the community of City of San Antonio. Let's pray that this gets up to the court system where ultimately it's going to be struck down because it violates state and federal wage laws. There's no way around it. But let's let City Council get out of the way. Every time you get involved in something, it gets screwed up almost all the time. You people don't understand. I've served with some of them down there. They simply don't get it because they don't know it, they've never done it, or they've never been a part of it. And this is a perfect example of small business ownership gone awry. So spend a lot of time on paid sick leave. It's a big one tomorrow. Pop up the poverty one, because Chris Herring mentioned something on poverty. I want to talk about this one real quick, because he mentioned it. We had it queued up. So I like to call that an excellent segue into poverty. So San Antonio has the highest poverty rate. This just came out the other day. And on September 26th, San Antonio was designated as the highest poverty rate in the country among major cities. It's increased over 23%. Since 2017. By the way, the city of San Antonio, number one in poverty in the nation. Number one. So the mayor, Ron Nirenberg's social reengineering and progressive programs are allegedly here to provide equity and fairness for everybody, has resulted in the highest level of poverty in the nation. You cannot deny the facts. You cannot deny the fact of this situation. Poverty is the highest it has ever been right now. It is horrible in the city of San Antonio. Wages, living conditions. The mayor has been at the helm of this for 3 years. By the way, he was also on the city council for 4 years before that. So for about 7 years, Ron Nirenberg's been involved in the destabilization of our city because this council and him focus on the wrong things, right? Their answer is to fill the gaps with government money. My answer would be, and I think the answer of many San Antonians would be, help people afford more. About this stat right here. It's embarrassing. And it's under your leadership, Ron Nirenberg, that San Antonio has the highest poverty rate in the country. I don't care who you are or what religion you are, what political persuasion you are, any of it, faith, any of it. You have to be embarrassed by this stat. City Council, you own that. and specifically the mayor, since 2017, it's increased. And we have to be drastically concerned about it because we're more concerned about Green New Deal and climate action, and let's worry about the ozone. Let's make sure we have bike lanes all across the city. I'm poor and I can't afford to pay my kids tuition, or I can't send them to college. I can't feed my kids from week to week. Every paycheck ends and I don't have enough money to make it to the end of the week. That's life for about 25% of our city. But let's make sure we've got bike lanes. Let's try to do streetcar. Let's try to raise Vista Ridge, $1 billion pipeline, water pipeline. All of these programs, and the poverty level's skyrocketing. Ridiculous, people. We have to become aware of this. So take a look at what's happening up in Austin right here. So put up a couple slides here of some things that are, and Mayor Steve Adler are best friends. These guys, they drink from the same tainted water cooler and their belief of what San Antonio should be. So look at what's happening up at Austin right there. Same types of retrace the straight line from what the knuckleheads in Austin are doing, right, and that city council and that ridiculous Mayor Adler, what they're doing up there, it's pushing that policy all the way down here to San Antonio. So earlier in the year, a lot that goes into homelessness. But up in Austin, they decided to remove or eliminate any repercussions for homeless trespassing. The governor's going to come in and clean it up himself. That's what happens when you don't have the right priorities. Give me the next one. What do we got? I had to show you this one. This is Mayor Adler. But it's taken over the community. And look, as a city council member, I did a lot of work into the homeless initiative because I think homelessness is, and here's an interesting fact too. Last week, the council voted on they're voting on it tomorrow, $128,000 plan, your tax dollars, for a homeless initiative. And guess where the company's from that they hired? No guessing, with a firm out of San Francisco to do our homeless initiative study. That's the San Antonio City Council. And look at these buddies right here, Ron Nirenberg and Steve Adler, both. And then you come down here to San Antonio, and we've got priorities galore. What else we got next right there? But I will give a props and a kudos on this one to the Alamo colleges. Look, they're trying to make a difference, right? They're going to offer college and Alamo Promise, which means free college, or they're going to close the gap between what a student can afford and what the actual tuition. We're going to have to keep an eye on this one, but I think I have a list of the 25 that were in there. Was it in there? Yeah, right there. So these are the high schools that are participating in the Alamo Promise program right there, Phase 1 in 2020 to 2021. My alma mater's on there, the illustrious John Jay Mustangs. And if you look at that list, those schools are going to be eligible for Alamo Promise. If I'm an Alamo College's taxpayer, number one, is this what I want my tax dollars spent on? Do I want my taxes reduced? Question one. Question two is, a lot of people are concerned. I think we got another slide of some public comments on here too I may have put in there. Right there, see, look, sucks my kid graduates from a Phase 2 school but in 2020. If they can give some other comments, they said, hey, well, you know what? Have them graduate complete and obtain a B or C or better and then help them with reimbursement as opposed to giving it to them up front. Like, how can they work this system so it makes a little bit of sense? But only 25 colleges and other people, there's comments up and down about other people at different high schools saying, I can't qualify for this. Where do you draw the line? It's not income driven, apparently, which is good. But is this the role, right? Promise plan. Think about that, because we're putting about $40 million a year into pre-K for SA. We are spending tens of millions of dollars. Is it right? And is the money going to the appropriate educational aspects? And what is the role of city government? So what else we got? We're getting close here to the end of the road. We've got a couple more minutes. What else we got? Let's see if we got a reprieve right there. Tyler's kind of happy right now. But I wanted you to see this. So we're going to have to catch this one, Tyler. I'm not letting you off the hook, man. I need you to discuss this one with us. Vaping is all over the news right now. And I think, and Tyler's got some great insight we're going to talk about, because look, Texas A&M banned vaping on its campuses. HEB's banned the selling of e-cigarettes. People, whether it's the president commenting, it's all the way down. There's a lot of issues right now with vaping. So we're going to have to pay attention to this one. Is this big tobacco? Is this a marketing campaign? Are there actual medical issues? All right, where and when do you draw the line on telling the public what they can or cannot do? And is this situation from vaping, a lot of businesses, there's a lot of business owners, there's a lot of profitability, there's a lot in this, but people are also smoking cigarettes going like mad over here. So we're going to see this one blow up over the next couple of weeks. Got to keep an eye on it. A lot of things happening with vaping. What else? Where else we got in there? Anything else we can burn through real quick? Oh, hey, today I wanted to give you a quick update. Leticia Vasquez was appointed the interim constable for Precinct 2. Unfortunately, the constable of Precinct 2 will not leave. She's Katie barred the door. She's locked the door. Show me a good picture of Constable Vela right there. I think we got a next slide of that one right there. There she is right there. So taxpayers paid for a training conference that she skipped. Again, I don't know what again is not a good thing. Give me the next one. Proceeded to announce her candidacy. She was so upset about her shop being raided that she announced her candidacy for Bexar County Sheriff because she believes, the constable believes, that the county judge and the Bexar County Sheriff are after her. In this particular case, though, she made a small mistake because in the state of Texas, if you, as in these county positions, if you offer your formal announcement for running for office, for another office, and you're currently elected, to show you that. But look, this is interesting. Today they appointed, we don't have to run it today, but today they appointed the interim. She has a temporary restraining order against her removal. This one's popcorn ready. Like, this is going to get better over the next couple days. This is buttery popcorn. This is movie theater. This is big bucket. When that interim tries to take the job, temporary restraining order, Dylan Collier's all over it. We got it. So next one. I think we're about done here. Want to go to the memes?
Technical stuff on the computer. On the internet in the system.
Oh, okay. So we're good? We're good?
Kinda. Más o menos.
I'll talk about that one soon, too. That came out as well. In California, they said that players can sign endorsement deals. Going to change the face of the NCAA. What's next? What's next?
This one. A good one.
All right. And our Castro, are we going to have some memes to show, you think?
Yes.
Okay. So this will be our last one because I always want to, the heart beats like 80 beats a minute. Everything's fine. Like Castro's campaign's on about 5 beats per minute right now. So the guy's at 0.0 wherever he goes. This is from the Texan. Beto O'Rourke, Julian Castro presidential campaigns continue to flounder. He's sending out emails begging to this person who's really not done much for us over the last several years, went up to HUD, wasted billions of dollars up there, and is struggling, right, with no case. The guy's saying anything now to get elected. He's going after police officers. He wants to decriminalize the border. He wants open borders. He wants reparations. I mean, you name it, this guy's throwing everything against the wall. The only one slightly worse on some issues is Beto O'Rourke. But that campaign, the Castro Death Watch, we're at about 25 beats per minute. The lifeline's in. Need some lidocaine. We probably got to bring out the, we're going to bring out the, so next show if I come out and I say clear, and I push, Castro's on the Death Watch. So we're going to keep, we're hoping this lasts for as long as possible. He's got one more debate in him. Let's see how he does and what he embarrasses himself. All right, we're good, right? Let's go to memes. We're wrapping this bad boy up. All right. Before and after, here we go. All right. Head and Shoulders. All right, here we go with the memes. You ready? Captain Jack Sparrow. Oh, wait. Captain Jack Sparrow.
You want to see Jack Sparrow? There we go.
Captain Jack Sparrow. Head and Shoulders. I love that one because it's just ridiculous looking. Check that out. Now we're going to have some fun. All right, here. Ooh, this is a good one right here. If you cheat getting into college, you go to jail. If you cheat getting into America, you go to college. I know. That's going to piss some people off right there, Salo. Oh, little NFL memes here. Knock, knock. Say who's there. Somebody say who's there. Owen. Owen 4. The Denver Broncos. Look at that guy at the bottom right there. He's like, huh? I love this one because I love Peyton Manning. The guy's hilarious. But Peyton Manning has stored every play he's ever made in his forehead since entering the league. That's okay. I'm no one to talk. I've got 25 years of education. Right? I've got a 5-head. Next. I had to do this one for all you Cowboys lovers out there. Dak Cologne. For those nights you don't want to score. I'm sorry, I had to do that. My wife's probably a little bit. The Dak Cologne. My wife's probably a little bit mad that I put that obnoxious one up there. Next. The Patriots pay all the refs in order to succeed. I had to get some NFL. And this is a good one right here. It's not a logo, it's a rating. 1 star. Dang, I went there. Parents, please check your children's candy this Halloween. I just found 2 Raiders tickets in my kid's bag. Some sick people out there. This is a good one right here. I know this photo is fake because there's an employee at each register. Talk to me, Target. That's you. Walmart's bad, but Target's horrible. Okay, AJ, I stole this one from you, brother. I am calling BS on this. What's the point, y'all? Look at it. It says, half pies, buy one, get one free. That's a City Hall pie sale. Yeah, that's a pie sale. Ron Nuremberg pie sale. The wives upset at me. My wife's, I'm going to be sleeping with the cockatiel bird tonight. All right, so I think that's it for the evening. We got a little obnoxious tonight. We got a little hard on the fact. But at the end of the day, too, we have to talk about the things that matter most. That's the purpose of the broadcast. It is about issues and ideas. A couple of days for BeHeardSA.com. We're going to compile nonpartisan information. We're going to find out what citizens really want. And then let's publish that information and drive the conversation. We are also going to take the broadcast on the road next month. Be some restaurant ideas. Send them in the comments and notes. Yeah. Anywhere, a good restaurant that would like to host us, and then let's do this broadcast. We'll pay for some food, some appetizers. We'll bring you in. We'll have a good show, and we'll do it live. Like, share, push this page. It's about information, part knowing that, hey, we got our thoughts out there. Thank you for always following and watching us. Push the page and information. The only way we get what we want at City Hall, in this government, in this world, is if we know the facts, we deal in fact, we say what we think, just as much as you elect them by going out and voting. Don't be the do-nothing. Be the voter. Be the educated person. Know what's happening. Get out there and make a difference in your community by paying attention. We'll talk to you soon. This is the broadcast. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8 o'clock p.m. We are out.